Buying a plot of land's worth million, but in the metaverse.
How can those digital lands have value? Who is buying and what is the economic model?
What are the specificities of this new industry?
We'll be talking about this with the founder of the first real estate crypto fund in the metaverse.
Stay tuned. Crypto entrepreneur, you also have a past in the football and present in the football industry. But today we speak about the metaverse. So the first question is the obvious one. We hear a lot about the metaverse. Everybody is in the metaverse, even Mark Zuckerberg, apparently. What is the metaverse? Can you describe it in a few words? Simple way, in a simple manner, please.
For many people, you see different definition of what would be a metaverse. For us at OwnEarth, it is simply the continuation of Web 0.2 to Web 0.3, bring much more with much more fluidity and with the possibility, thanks to the technologies like blockchain and the NFTs, to have the authentication and the real ownership, which is backed without any kind of doubt, and this permits to make much more in the metaverse. So metaverse,
it exists on its own. Actually, we speak about NFT, metaverse, but you would give it like its own definition.
Absolutely. For me, it's like we're saying, we cannot say the metaverses, it's the metaverse. Like if you would say 20 years ago, I am investing in the internets. No, I'm investing in internet. The metaverse is like you would say, go to my webpage, you will say, go to my metaverse. The question is, will it happen within 1, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? So this is one of the main questions that are interesting a lot of the investors and the audience that look at us. But definitely the metaverse is the continuation of the internet, permitting much more application that the internet permitted before. And we will talk about it. The biggest breakthrough, except the blockchain and the ownership, is the immersive part that the metaverse will permit in the near future.
Absolutely.
When you see a website and you're a specialist on advertising stuff, it's only a 2D. And now what you see is also in the metaverse, we can have this static environment that is the Web 2.0, like getting alive thanks to also the metaverse. And I think it's a great angle also with regard to what is the metaverse, not only a video game, but it's much more with regard to also the experience that you have when you're a brand or...
For us, I mean, I'm a gamer, but I don't see the metaverse in my use on a day-to-day basis being the gaming. Great, there is gaming, it works really well. It permits also to give ownership for gamers, but this is another application of the metaverse. Try to imagine more about the metaverse, like we say, the internet website of e-commerce, where you will enter into the shop of one of your favorite brands. You will see the different articles. You will make the article move on itself as 360 degrees. Try to imagine that in the metaverse, you will be able to enter the real shop. The shop will have also the dimensions of your clothes, of your shoes. So you will be able to see also if it fits you perfectly, and you will have an experience which is completely different. And the fact is that many different applications will be possible. Also, try to imagine events. Today, you would tell to somebody, go and see my game in live streaming on my Twitch or wherever. Yeah. Tomorrow, you will say, just put your glasses, go on our metaverse and follow the game as if you were in the stadium, because in the stadium, there will be cameras adapted to your digital layer of your glasses, which will permit to recreate completely the environment, the real environment.
And now that we're speaking about spaces, this is exactly actually what maybe you do, but I will be eager to hear exactly, we said in the beginning that you were a pioneer in creating this crypto fund. So it's regulated as a fund, but for a real estate metaverse. So what's a crypto fund focusing on real estate?
Okay, so we are an investment fund specialized into the real estate in the metaverse. meaning that we do believe, as we can see it also already in many stats on the younger people, that people will live both digitally and both in the real life. Let's call it the physical life. So we believe that people are already living in the metaverse. You and I are already living in the metaverse. When we go from our smartphone to our computer to our TV, we are always digital. We already buy a lot of things digitally. And we know also that young people behind the age of 16 years old are spending today in the world more digitally than in the real life. So we do believe that there is less and less space in the world. There is more and more difficulties also to go from a point A to a point B. There is also an ecological question also about all those transportation around the world, and also about the cost of transportation. So the metaverse and the digital layer will permit to live both experiences which are very similar to what we live today, but also very new experiences that will permit to have the same feeling as if we were in another space, but at the end of the day, we are sitting at the same space. But it's mentally that the work is done, and visually. And this is how human beings are feeling the things.
So rent your place in the real world and buy some land in the metaverse, if I understand you correctly.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't shorten it to this to this final, let's say, verdict about what should be done. As an investor myself into the real estate and the real estate which is digital in the metaverse, we do consider that nowadays we could compare the value of the real estate in the metaverse and in the most famous ones as if you would say we are in New York in the late 18th century. However, to arrive to the prices of 2022, it will not take a century and a half. It will take only 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
So this is part of our investments, one of our verticals in our investment fund, which is definitely to buy lands on prime location, on the best metaverse. We are studying and analyzing them deeply. So to go more in details would be maybe heavy, but this is the first vertical. Would be definitely to buy some parcels in some great metaverse where we see that the pricing is really going up in a clear way.
Yeah. What do you think is the economic model for this, and who are the clients?
Okay, so you have different kind of clients, and we have also different verticals in our investment fund. First one of them being I buy land like in the real world. I would say I buy land. I do believe that this part of the city or this part of the world will gain in attraction, and then the value of this land will go up. And this is the first vertical. The second vertical, which is, let's say, the most challenging, but also the most interesting, and which is already metaverse ready, which permits already to have revenues and to generate benefits, would be to buy lands and to make developments on those lands as you can have in the real life. So if you have just a land without a building on it, with an activity, it has a value. With the building, you know that you have built something that has a value, that gives more value to your land. And second of all, you will also have the possibility to rent this place and to have passive incomes. So this is the main vertical that we are working on. We'll talk maybe more concretely about the tangible project that we are working on right now, which are metaverse ready. And the last vertical would be the one of investing in new metaverse made by new companies in which we strongly believe. And this is a small percentage of our portfolio, less than a 10%.
Maybe you've answered this a little bit already, but what do you think is the difference between real estate metaverse or just normal real estate?
I would say the tangibility.
Yeah.
It's definitely the business which is the most tangible in the world right now. Real estate, to invest in stone is something which is known by generation and generations. However, what is important is the time being spent into those spaces, and the time being spent generates traffic, and this same traffic has also a value in the digital world. So what we are trying to do is to have a copy paste from the real world to the digital one. Okay. When will it be something that really looks similar? From the moment that the technology will be much more immersive and much more ready to the end users. However, we are trying to have exactly the same. We buy a land, we develop on it a real estate project. The big difference is that in the real estate, it will take months, if not years, to build something. And we are building entire districts, neighborhoods within 3 to 4 months. So this is the biggest difference into the aspect of the development. And then after, it stays more or less the same from a point of view of business model. It means we are renting, we have passive incomes. When we do believe that one of our buildings with this parcel has achieved the value which is okay for us to sell, then we also explore the possibility to sell it.
Do you have maybe a few criteria that you can share that actually would give a land its value? Because there is a famous say, from an economist. He said, I couldn't figure out the name, I don't remember it, but he said you should buy some real estate, some land, because we don't make it anymore. And with regard to the metaverse, the NFT, in the end, it's a digital world that we recreate. So there probably is some difference and some additional criteria. It's not like you could be an investor in the real estate and come directly into the metaverse one. So what do you think are the criteria? Do you have to, is it like more educated people that tends to invest in the metaverse, or is it like different mind type of people that tends to think, on a 20-year basis in the future, where people will all wear, VR glasses and think differently, simply?
I see two questions in one. The first one being, what are the parameters? And you're completely right. It's a very important question. How do you give a valuation to a land which is digital? And as you said, we are pioneers in that environment. We are working on a daily basis in order to be able to give the right valuation to the lands. As you know, being an investment fund regulated in Switzerland, we have also what we call the NAV every month, which are giving the valuation, the real value of the portfolio that we hold. And being able to give the real value is something that is not that easy today. Because if we would compare it to the real world, we would say, okay, location, traffic, mostly that's it, And here the difference
no sun exposure.
Exactly. So the fact is that here in this world of the digital aspect, right now we are much more about location and which metaverse are we talking about? Because we see that there are two leading metaverse in the field, which are Decentraland and Sandbox. If we look at the traffic of those companies today, it's just, let's say it frankly, ridiculous. We're talking about 1,000 people. Out of those 1,000 people every day, I think that more than half of it, they just go to casinos. Right now, it's not about the traffic. It's about the location in those specific metaverse. The other one are very easy to invest in because there is much less requests and demand from the public. So this is right now the main parameters would be the location and the metaverse you are in. And then we have to add, of course, the development that you are making on it. And the development has a value, obviously. And last but not least is the community. What is the community that is present on this specific lands? And how repetitive is their presence there.
So there is also a lot of aesthetics. So people who actually buy the land are also very interdependent with people who would build upon it and the community. Like if, I don't know, a superstar was living in a specific building in the metaverse, you would definitely buy the land. So
Right
there's,
next to
it's a lot of a social
absolutely, and most certainly in very trendy metaverse, where, for example, Sandbox, where you've seen exactly the same situation with Snoop Dogg that bought a mansion. And actually, he bought also, in a clever way, all the estates that were around this mansion, and he sold it for a ridiculous price, which was X7 above the floor price. Just people wanted to be in front of the mansion of Snoop Dogg, knowing that he promised that he will held there a lot of parties, that a lot of people will go there, then people will go in front of the mansion, and if you have a shop selling T-shirts, e-cigarettes, whatsoever, you will have traffic, and therefore it gives value to your land. So we see it's quite similar to the world, but the world is becoming more and more social. And I would even say that the digital lands are more adapted to the new world we are coming in and living in, and the new generation Z, than the real one. And let's not talk also about the fact of getting to be a owner, how easy it is in a digital asset compared to a real asset where you have to talk to banks, to owners, a lot of paperwork. It's heavy. I mean, today you can buy a land within 5 minutes.
But you see those industry coming in the metaverse at some point.
Absolutely, they are really interested because they do not want to feel that they are losing it. They are definitely seeing a change of the paradigm, but they have also difficulties to understand exactly where is it going, when the technology will be ready for the immersive experiences, but they want to be part of it. Everybody want to be part of it. We see already that it's a consensus between all the biggest companies, but not only the Americans. And as you mentioned, Meta, you mentioned, we have Microsoft, the biggest VCs in the US. However, we know that it's not anymore about if, it's about when. You know, so it's a certainty. Yeah. There is a consensus around it. We know that Apple, which is certainly one of the biggest companies, once they are inventing a new product for the human beings, there is a mass adoption, and it's kind of difficult to hide that you've engaged more than 1,500 engineers and buying companies into VR and AR since more than 3 years. And we know this is going to happen very soon.
Absolutely. I think right now all of this is still in development, and there's still lots of stuff to be done. What do you think are the most important developments to be done for the metaverse to succeed? Because right now we're only talking about it, and as you said, there are still not so many users. So what are the next step for the metaverse to really like take over the world, as we've been saying for the past couple of years?
Well, I do believe that technological revolution, because that's what we are talking about. It's a real revolution. It began with the blockchain, but I would like to go even to answer. Maybe it will be easier to catch my way of thinking. The fact is that it took 30 years to go from radio to TV, black and white. Then TV black and white to color took almost 10 years. Then we had phones. It took also 10 more years. Then we had mobile phones 15 years later. TV in color came right before us. So we see that the technological revolution took at least 10, 15 years. And since now 10 years, the last 10 years, we came up from the last 20 years to mobile phones which are capable to send written messages. Then they were able to send videos. Then we are able to have conversation in videos. All of those revolutions, which are real revolutions, happened in less than 20 years. True. So we do believe that the immersive part, being a layer, a digital layer that can be on an Oculus, that can be on regular glasses, because this is where we are going to go. You remember the big mobile phones 30 years ago, and today, I mean, we could even make them this small if we would like to. So I do believe that within the next 5 years we will be there, and when big companies like Apple will go out and release and launch a product which is well done, I think that we are there. The problem of a technological revolution is that you have to come at the right time, because if you come with the Google glasses 10, 15 years ago, it's not the right time. Blockchain does not even exist. How are we going to monetize it? What is the real value of it? So today, everybody, all the blockchain, NFT, crypto, everybody meets in the metaverse, and now it makes sense.
There's definitely something happening now out there with this metaverse. We see a lot of brand coming up. Pierre Mevy Azaria, it was a pleasure having you. It was great. I'll see you definitely in front of Snoop Dogg house in the metaverse.
Yeah, I'll be there.
I'll be wearing my gold chain.
My pleasure. Really, thank you so much for inviting us.
Absolutely,
And
thank you.
yes, please continue to bring the metaverse to the public, because this is definitely where the world is going.